Hi there, Dixon Nacey here from jazzguitarlegend.com, the website, and we've got a little video here on ear training, which goes with a little blog that I've written. Hopefully you can. I'm going to post a link to that in the info section of this. What I'm going to do is just talk about relative interval training, relative pitch training using intervals, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about chord training. How we train our ear to recognize chord sounds, chord types, different types of chords. So the first thing is relative pitch training. I've got about 5 steps here for you to cover, for you to think about. First thing is choose a note that sits within your register to sing, because you're going to be singing every single note. That's the first thing. So choose a note. I've chosen G, and now choose a note, find the note 1 octave above that, and choose a simple 7-note scale that sits within that octave. You can use a major or a minor scale, anything you want. My preference is to use something simple if you've never done this before. Use the major scale. There it is. Now play it and sing it. So sing as you play as you sing. Da dee da 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 dee da dee da 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 dee da. Do that a few times if you're having trouble pitching. Second step, do it as accurately as you can always. Search for accuracy, not approximacy. Accuracy is much more important. The second step is to sing and play each tone against your given tonic. Everything is about comparison. It's about relativity. Oh, da, dee, da, do, dee, do, dee, do, da, do, dee, do, da. At this point in the exercise, I would ascend and descend in the scale form, stepwise, but I would always keep inserting that tonic note against your whatever pitch you're playing. Now, I would also number the tones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this case, in case of the major scale. And I would also work out what their note names are in the particular key that I've chosen. That helps you understand where you're singing as well as what notes you're singing. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G octave, or 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 8, 1, 7, 1, 6, 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, unison. Okay, and get used to what those sounds are. The point to ear training is actually memorizing the sounds by relationship, right? So we just have to spend time with them, repeat them, and that's how we form a strong relationship with the sound. Oh, da, oh, dee, oh, dee, oh, da. We start to hear that sound enough, then we get strong at recognizing it. And this brings me to a simple point of like try and think about songs. Obviously, nursery rhymes are good. Simple songs with simple melodies are good as well. And then that also brings me oh, this is one that I always remember. I always remember the 6th because my mum used to sing me. So I remember that interval. Always remember that interval because of that song. Or you can go through each of the intervals and there's the interval song too, which is quite hard case if you want to YouTube that. Okay, now the next thing I would do, so the next step is to play the intervals in random order against the tonic. Do, do, and try and sing before you play now. Now that you've done, you might have worked on this for a week or a couple of days, and your singing's getting stronger in that certain scale and in that certain pitch register. And now try and sing the notes before you play them, okay? And you can also start getting off the tonic if you want, but I mean this is a relative pitch training exercise, so it's a good idea to just keep comparing things back to one note, which is why I've chosen my tonic note. Do, dee, do, da, do, ba, bo, ba, bo, ba, bo, ba, bo, boom, ba. Okay, so that's a really good exercise. The next step, I think we're up to about step 4 now, is I would flatten or sharpen the scale degrees to find those in-between intervals that we haven't looked at, which is there's 5 tones. the notes are A flat, B flat, in comparison to the G, I mean, in this scale. The notes are A flat, B flat, D flat, E flat, and F natural. We haven't played those tones at all against this note. And I'd create a scale out of those tones. There's my tonic. And I'd do the same steps again. Play the scale up and down, singing it. Sing and play and sing at the same time. Sing first, then play. Then, comparing our notes back. Once you've done that, you've covered all of the semitone intervals, and you can start practicing in a more musical fashion. Again, you can think about songs for this. That's a good way of thinking about it. That gives you the intervals in a really strong way. Or you can just do this, like this is a great exercise. You think about like learning a song with difficult chords in it, you know. Thing you do is learn the bass line, and if you've got good relative ear training, you know, relative pitch ear training, you can find those bass notes very quickly. And next we're going to look at chords. Okay, so the first thing I'd do to train my ear getting better in chords is use very simple chords and use them in a form that you find on your instrument very often. So it's going to be different for each chordal instrument. Obviously piano is going to be different from guitar. So I would play major, minor, augmented and diminished triads on my guitar. All the major, different kind of inversions of major. Okay, and before you got into too many fancy chords, like say for instance that one, I guess I would do all of the chords against the tonic, because it can become a bit confusing to hear, say for instance this, first inversion, G major, when we don't have sounding in our ear. I mean, that can sound like an E minor 7, right? So as not to be confusing, always play everything against your tonic, but you can use any voicings. Now, this is where you can start involving different different bass notes, and you can be as random as you want. In fact, it's a good idea if you are, so that you don't keep hearing systems. Now, you'll need to record yourself playing without being able to see it, so just like an audio recording of these chords, and play them twice and hold them like this. Okay, then go to the next chord. Go to the next chord. Maybe you'll play diminished. Go to another chord. And do this, and of course you're seeing these chord forms now, but when you just listen to an audio recording, you won't be able to see them. And the point to that is to be able to guess the chord type, and eventually it becomes not a guess. You just know it. You know what that sound is. Is to work out what that chord type is. And just a quick note here: you might find that augmented is best played like that, an augmented triad, or like that, or here, or here, or here. Diminished, triad. Listen to the difference in those sounds. Those are your 4 triads: major, minor, augmented and diminished. And I'd start with triads, and I'd do that, you know, recording exercise where you just keep testing yourself. I'd record like 5 minutes worth of chords and just write them all out, and then go through with your instrument and find out how many you got right or how many you couldn't quite work out. And this develops a really strong sense for the colour, the sound, the emotional kind of trigger that happens in you. It's relative to, you know, it's subjective. When you hear each chord, you know, I guess we could say in a general sense that's kind of happy and that's kind of sad. But the more complex the chord gets, it's like, oh, what is that? That's tense, yeah, but what sort of tense? You know what I mean? It becomes very subjective. The next step for that exercise is to then look at 7th chords. Major 7, minor 7, dominant 7, half diminished, fully diminished, major 7 sharp 5, and minor major 7. those are the 7 different 7th chords, and do the same thing, find a whole lot of inversions. Always play from the tonic, always have the tonic at the lowest part in the chord, so that it is not too difficult to, it just becomes a bit complex when you start using inversions and rootless voicings, or you put, a slash, you make it a slash chord. So that's how I would train my ear for relative pitch training and relative chord training.